Have you ever felt like you were born into a world that forgot who it truly is? Like you're living with a mind that was programmed by fear, by media, by the noise of 1,000 opinions, but not by truth? What if I told you that your mind is not broken, but merely asleep? That there is a divine gift buried deep within you, forgotten not because it failed, but because it is so powerful, the world had to cover it up just to keep itself functioning? You're not here by accident. You're watching this because something inside you is starting to remember. Think about this. What if your thoughts were not your own? What if 90% of what moves through your mind was just echoes from the world around you? From the age of 2, you were being programmed. Words, commands, emotions, beliefs, all shaping the lens through which you see the world. But here's the secret no one told you. The lens can be cleaned. There is a switch within your consciousness, a divine mechanism that can rewire the entire system of your thinking. This isn't about positive affirmations or wishful thinking. This is about accessing a forgotten tool that was gifted to humanity long before time remembered itself. On the outside, it looks like a normal day. You walk, you talk, you think about bills, you scroll through your feed. But behind that mask, your soul is screaming. Not because it's broken, but because it knows there's more. You feel glimpses of it in silence, in nature, in the eyes of someone who sees you. That's the divine gift trying to wake you up. Can you feel it now? That subtle pulse in your chest, the inner knowing that this reality is only a fraction of what you're capable of perceiving.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Now, here's the twist that no one expects. The divine gift isn't something you have to earn. It's not in a temple far away or in an ancient book. It's in your breath. It's in your awareness. It's in your ability to observe your thoughts instead of becoming them. This gift is called conscious realignment. It's the power to step outside the patterns you inherited and choose again. Imagine standing in front of every belief you've ever had and asking, is this even true? Is this mine? That act alone cracks the code of the matrix you were born into. You see, every thought you think creates a neural path inside your brain. Most people walk the same mental trail every day. That's why they feel stuck. That's why life feels like a loop. But the divine gift is this: you can step off the trail. You can carve a new path. Neuroplasticity isn't just science, it's the modern name for ancient magic. When you consciously choose a new thought, you are not just thinking differently, you are becoming different. And the universe responds to who you become, not just what you want. Let me ask you something radical. If you could completely erase every belief given to you by society, school, religion, and media, who would you be? Not what job would you have, not what car would you drive. Who would you be? Most people never ask this question because they're terrified of what they might find. But this is where the forgotten divine gift begins to activate. When you strip away the noise, something ancient begins to whisper. A voice that is not loud, but it is infinite. That voice is your original self, untainted, divine, whole. You were never meant to be a slave to your mind. The mind is a beautiful tool, but a terrible master. And for most of us, the divine gift has been buried under years of external programming. But it's still there. Like a diamond under layers of dirt, It's waiting for you to remember. And here's the most powerful part. The moment you decide to remember, the universe begins to conspire with you. You'll start noticing synchronicities. You'll feel called to books, people, and experiences that awaken you. This is not coincidence. This is sacred orchestration. Some say that the forgotten divine gift is intuition. Others say it's the ability to visualize, but it's deeper. It is the faculty of conscious pattern interruption. The ability to observe a thought, pause, and instead of reacting the same way you always have, choose differently. That tiny moment between thought and action is the birthplace of miracles. That's where the divine gift lives. And when you begin to live from that space, everything changes. You stop being a puppet of your past, and you start becoming the architect of your destiny. Let's go deeper. Why do you think ancient cultures focused so much on silence, meditation, fasting, and stillness? Because they knew something we've forgotten. The divine gift only speaks when the noise stops. It doesn't shout over your to-do list. It waits patiently for you to return to your original frequency. And the fastest way back is through presence. Not presence as a concept, but as a state of being. When you are fully here, without judgment, without expectation, the divine gift reveals itself effortlessly. But don't be fooled. This journey isn't easy. Reprogramming your mind means confronting everything you've ever believed about yourself, about the world, and about what's possible. It means facing your fears, your traumas, your shadows. But here's the sacred irony. Those shadows are not your enemies. They are your teachers. Every limiting belief is an invitation. Every fear is a doorway, and the divine gift gives you the courage to walk through them. Let me give you something practical. Every morning, when your eyes open, you are given a choice. Before you check your phone, before you remember your name, you are in the gap. That gap between sleep and wake is the most powerful moment of the day. That's when your mind is most malleable. In that space, whisper a new belief, something that aligns with your highest self. Not a wish, but a declaration. Say it out loud. Say it like you mean it. And then feel it in your body. That's not just a ritual, it's neurological alchemy. You want to reprogram your mind? Start honoring your thoughts like sacred seeds. Because every thought you entertain plants itself in the soil of your mind. And what you water will grow. Most people are watering weeds and wondering why they feel lost. But when you start feeding your mind with truth, with beauty, with gratitude, you begin to bloom. You don't have to force it. You just have to stop feeding what no longer serves you. Let me ask you something only few dare to explore. What if everything you've ever experienced, every heartbreak, every failure, every moment of pain was a setup for your awakening? What if your soul chose this exact path, with all its chaos, just so you could remember your power? Would you still see yourself as a victim? Or would you realize that you're the hero of your own myth, the divine spark playing the game of forgetting so it can rediscover itself from within? You were never lost. You were just distracted. And now you are being called home, not to a place, but to a state of divine remembrance. The forgotten gift is not something you acquire. It's something you uncover. It's always been with you, sleeping in your breath, whispering in your dreams, guiding you when you thought you were alone. And now, it's time to wake up. The next time you catch yourself thinking a thought that doesn't serve you, pause. Ask yourself, who taught me this? Is this thought serving my expansion or my limitation? And then choose again. That is the practice. That is the path. That is the power. Reprogramming your mind is not about controlling your thoughts. It's about choosing your alignment. And when you align with your truth, you step into a frequency that bends reality itself. Are you ready to remember? Are you ready to reclaim what was never lost, only hidden? Because once you do, the universe will bend around your intention. You'll see signs. You'll feel clarity. You'll start creating from a place of soul, not survival. And that, my friend, is the forgotten divine gift in motion. There is a moment in every seeker's journey where the noise becomes unbearable. The opinions of others, the inner critic, the comparisons, the doubts, they all crescendo into a deafening roar. But in that chaos, something breaks. And when it breaks, it doesn't shatter you. It shatters the illusion. That's when the divine gift begins to pulse with heat inside your chest, an ancient rhythm you've known since before you had a name. It is not angry. It is not loud. It's patient, powerful, and eternal. It says, you are not this mind. You are the one who sees the mind. And once you awaken to that truth, you begin to see the world differently. Not because the world has changed, but because your perception has been recalibrated. The gift is perception reborn. It allows you to see through the veil of limitation, fear, identity. You begin to question not just your thoughts, but the source of your thoughts. You begin to see that most of your inner voice isn't your voice at all. It's a chorus of conditioning that has been echoing in your subconscious since childhood. And that realization is terrifying, but it's also liberating. Because now you hold the pen again. You can write new thoughts. You can choose new beliefs. You can reprogram your mind like a sacred architect designing a temple. The forgotten divine gift is not just the ability to change your thoughts, it's the realization that you were the author all along. And from that place, you can begin to create a life that is not a reaction to your past, but a reflection of your purpose. We were taught to think linearly. If you do A, you get B. If you work hard, you'll succeed. If you follow the rules, you'll be safe. But the divine gift shatters all that. It speaks in spirals, in symbols, in synchronicities. It doesn't follow logic, it precedes it. Because it's not of the mind, it's of the spirit. And when you begin to trust that language, the subtle nudges, the intuitive hits, the magnetic pulls, you begin to live in alignment with your soul's true code. Here's a truth most people will never tell you. Your mind is a servant. It was never meant to be in charge. The divine gift flips the entire hierarchy of your being. Soul leads, mind interprets, body expresses. But most people live reversed. They let the body tell them what to crave, the mind what to believe, and the soul is silenced. But when you reprogram your mind using the divine gift, that order is restored. Suddenly, you're not chasing dopamine, you're following destiny. You're not reacting to fear, you're responding to truth. There will be moments where your old programming fights back. It will whisper, "You're not enough." It will say, "This is who you've always been." But in those moments, you must remember, lies scream, truth whispers. The divine gift doesn't force itself upon you. It invites you. It offers you the keys to your own liberation, but you must take the first step. And that first step is awareness. Not passive awareness, but active, engaged, honest watching of your mind. Catch the thought. Examine it. Ask it where it came from. And then decide, do I want to keep this? This is the practice of sacred editing. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the editor of your mental manuscript. And when you edit with awareness, you begin to rewrite the story of your life. You begin to notice the patterns you've been living on repeat, the same arguments, the same insecurities, the same fears, and you choose to interrupt them. That interruption is everything. It's the divine gift in action. It's the spark of free will within the matrix of conditioning. There's a reason ancient sages sat in silence for hours, years even. Not because silence was the goal, but because silence reveals the truth. And the truth is this: you are not your trauma, you are not your title, you are not your thoughts. You are the witness, you are the presence, you are the awareness behind it all. And when that awareness becomes your home, your mind begins to rewire itself naturally. You no longer have to force positivity. Joy becomes your default, not because life got easier, but because you stopped resisting what is. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the vastness of your own consciousness. And behind you are decades of programming, stories, pain, identity. But ahead of you, infinite possibility. The divine gift is the wings. But you must jump. And when you do, you'll realize you were never falling. You were flying. And the sky was never the limit, it was the beginning. Let's get practical. If you want to reprogram your mind, start with your language. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. Every time you say I am, you cast a vote for your identity. Are you saying, I am tired, I am anxious, I am broke? Or are you saying, I am healing, I am powerful, I am becoming? Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a joke and a declaration. It just listens. So speak as if your words are sacred, because they are. Next, reclaim your mornings. Your first 20 minutes after waking are the most fertile soil for mental reprogramming. Don't scroll. Don't react. Create. Breathe. Visualize. Speak your truth. Set your frequency. Because the way you begin your day becomes the way your mind is sculpted. Show your subconscious who's in charge. Not with force, but with intention. Now ask yourself this: what would your life look like if you only believed thoughts that made you feel expansive, powerful, and peaceful? Not delusional, just aligned. What if you stopped arguing for your limitations and started advocating for your potential? What if you stopped diagnosing yourself with trauma and started prescribing yourself with transformation? This is the power of the divine gift. It doesn't ask you to ignore your pain. It asks you to alchemize it. You've been given this power not to escape reality, but to transform it. Your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions create your actions. Your actions create your reality. So when you shift the origin point, the thought, the entire chain reaction changes. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. You are a cosmic machine wired for evolution. And the divine gift is your user manual. But here's the twist. The divine gift doesn't work on autopilot. You must engage with it daily. Like a flame, it must be fed. Not with effort, but with attention. You must become a gardener of your mind. Pull the weeds, plant the seeds, water the vision, and trust the process. Some days will feel expansive, others will feel like regression. But even the steps backward are part of the spiral forward. You are never starting over. You are starting deeper. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to anchor even more truth. Every time you fall into a new layer of awareness. And each layer brings you closer to your divine nature. The forgotten gift is not a one-time activation. It's a lifelong unfolding, like a lotus blooming in slow motion, layer by layer, petal by petal, presence by presence. And eventually you'll look back and realize the person you thought you were, the anxious, reactive, limited self, was just a mask. A beautiful mask, but a mask nonetheless. And underneath it was something ancient, something infinite, something divine. That's who you are, not becoming, remembering. So now I ask you, are you willing to let go of who you think you are, to become who you truly are? Are you willing to die to your old self, so your soul can finally breathe? Because that's what this is. A sacred death, a divine rebirth. And your mind, once your cage, becomes your cathedral. When you finally begin to live from the place of divine remembrance, something profound happens. Your external reality starts to bend to match your internal transformation. This isn't a metaphor, it's a law. Reality is not solid, it's responsive. It listens to your vibration more than your words. So when you reprogram your mind, you're not just changing how you think, you're changing the very frequency that your life is built upon. And the forgotten divine gift is the transmitter. It's your direct link to the field of infinite intelligence that creates worlds. Most people look outside of themselves for change. They change jobs, change cities, change relationships, hoping that their external world will finally bring them peace. But the divine gift reveals something radical. Nothing out there can complete what is incomplete in here. The mind, when untrained, looks for salvation in form. But when it is reprogrammed by presence, it realizes that all form is fleeting, and what you truly seek is a state of being. That state is already within you. You don't need to find it, you need to remove what's in the way of it. Let us go deeper into this mystery. The mind, as powerful as it is, was never designed to create truth. It was designed to interpret experience, and that interpretation is based on memory. But memory is not truth, it is just a record of how you felt in the past. So every time you let your mind run on autopilot, you're living from yesterday's pain. The divine gift interrupts this cycle. It invites you to live from now. Not from memory, not from fear, but from presence. And in presence, there is no trauma. There is only awareness. There is only power. Think of your mind as a house. Most people are living in rooms that were decorated by other people. The parents, teachers, media, culture. They never questioned the furniture. But what if you walked room to room and asked, who put this here? Do I like it? Does it reflect who I truly am? That's what reprogramming is. It's divine interior design. You remove what no longer serves, and you consciously choose what to keep. And eventually, you walk through your mind and feel, this is home. The forgotten divine gift is the ability to witness your own programming without identifying with it. That single skill changes everything. Because if you can observe it, you are not it. You are something deeper, something eternal. That awareness is the beginning of liberation. And once you taste that freedom, even for a moment, the old habits and beliefs lose their grip. They may still show up, but they no longer run the show. You become the conductor of your own inner orchestra. Here's a truth most people overlook. Your subconscious doesn't care about what's true. It cares about what's repeated. That's why repetition is sacred. If you want to reprogram your mind, don't wait for evidence created through repetition. Speak the new belief 100 times. Not because you're trying to convince the world, but because you're reconditioning your inner world. Say it until it feels real. Until it is real. Because what you feel repeatedly becomes your baseline, and your baseline becomes your reality. But you must also be willing to feel the discomfort that comes with change. Most people want transformation without turbulence, but the divine gift doesn't work like that. It will bring to the surface everything that is not aligned with your intention so you can heal it. Every limiting belief, every suppressed emotion, every outdated identity will rise up, not to punish you, but to be released. And when it does, don't run. Sit with it, breathe through it, love it, because what you resist persists, but what you embrace dissolves. Let me ask you something sacred. What if your pain was not a mistake? What if it was the exact pressure needed to awaken your potential? What if your suffering was not a punishment, but a portal? The divine gift doesn't erase your past, it alchemizes it. It turns wounds into wisdom, scars into symbols. It doesn't ask you to forget what happened. It asks you to rise above it, to claim your power in spite of it. And when you do, you become a living transmission of what's possible. This is where spiritual maturity begins. When you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this teaching me? You realize that every experience is part of your curriculum, that your soul chose this path for a reason, and that reason is growth, evolution, expansion. The divine gift doesn't make life easier, it makes you stronger. It gives you eyes to see beyond the illusion. And from that place, nothing can shake you. Let's return to the practice. Begin to train your mind like a sacred warrior. Wake up with intention. Speak your truth into existence. Visualize your future self and act as if they are already here. When old thoughts arise, don't fight them, observe them. Thank them, and then choose again. This is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Every time you choose alignment, you reinforce a new neural pathway. And eventually, that new path becomes your default. You can also use the power of the body to assist the mind. Your physiology influences your psychology. Stand tall. Breathe deeply. Move with purpose. Smile even when it's hard. These small shifts send signals to your brain that you are safe, powerful, and present. The divine gift works best when the body, mind, and spirit are aligned. So honor your vessel. Feed it light. Treat it like the temple it is. Another key is to surround yourself with reminders of who you truly are. Symbols, mantras, music, nature, community. Let your environment reflect your inner truth, because what surrounds you shapes you. And when you're immersed in a field of truth, it becomes harder to fall back into old illusions. You begin to live in coherence, and coherence is harmony. Harmony is power. Now imagine for a moment that you've fully activated this divine gift. You think clearly. You speak consciously. You move with purpose. You radiate peace. Not because life is perfect, but because you are anchored. You laugh more. You love deeper. You listen better. You stop chasing and start magnetizing. Your energy speaks before you do. And it says, I remember who I am. This is not a fantasy. This is your potential. And the only thing standing between you and that reality is a decision to wake up, to stop outsourcing your power, to reclaim your mind as the sacred technology that it is. You don't need more information. You need more integration. Less scrolling, more stillness. Less noise, more knowing. Less trying, more trusting. The divine gift isn't rare. It's universal. But it only activates when you choose to remember. And in remembering, you are reborn. Not into someone new, but into who you were before the world told you who to be. That is the great return. The return to essence, to soul, to truth. And so I leave you with this question. If you fully trusted the divine gift within you, what would you do differently right now? What thought would you release? What truth would you speak? What life would you create? Because the moment you choose to remember, the entire universe remembers with you. You are not here to survive. You are here to awaken. You are not here to conform. You are here to create. You are not here to be programmed. You are here to reprogram reality itself. And the divine gift, it's already inside you, waiting. Awaken it. Use it. Become it.